viewers, you're welcome to yet another interesting edition of Let's Relate with Amo. I remain your darling host, Victoria Yohimba. With me here is a very interesting personality. She's a mentor, a mother. Wow, you need to listen to her. She's no other person than Pst Mrs Simidele Ogunnaike. Ma, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
So she's going to be taking us on how to get him to listen. Yes, if you're having problems of how to get your spouse to listen to you, well, she'll give you a little tips on how to go about it. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You said how to get him to listen.
Yes.
When I heard that question, the first thought that hit me is, why are you asking that question? When you talk to someone, shouldn't he be listening? And I'll just take it back to the Garden of Eden. There's something I think I'd like to say, and that is the issue of fear. The Bible says in 2 Timothy, it says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love, of power, and of a sound mind. Until we remove fear. Now, this might cut across a lot of things, but we really need to understand that the fear, what sometimes when we think, oh, how do I get him to listen? You're afraid that he's not listening. So now there is a premise from which you're operating. Sometimes in our relationships, amazingly, now it might sound as if I'm not answering the question, but I'm trying to get to the root of it. If we remove fear, what is left is the power to communicate, because then you can become creative. Okay, when he says God has not given you a spirit of fear but of love, of power, and then the sound mind, that means you now engage your mind. How do you want to relate with your husband? Because I can't give an answer that, oh, you talk to him like this. Every circumstance of relationship is very different. So we need to begin to know that the basic is understanding that you shouldn't be afraid. A lot of marriages today are already operating from that place of fear. And fear was what happened in the Garden of Eden. If you remember, when they were looking for Adam, he said, I was afraid. And so we need to remove fear. We have come into Christ, and therefore fear, the fear of death, everything has been removed in Christ Jesus. So when we remove fear, we now begin to ask ourselves, who is this person I'm relating with? How does he relate? So you're not afraid, you're coming to it at a point of knowledge. You are understanding the uniqueness of your husband. That's when we can now start saying, oh, don't talk to him while he's watching a football match. He's not smart, for crying out loud. He's not going to listen to you. Or you jump in, he's just walking in through the door, and he's coming in from work, and you're already trying to offload a lot of things on me. He probably is not going to do that. Now, it might work in some situations, because that's why I can't answer everybody like, oh, this is the golden rule. There's no golden rule. It's an issue of knowing the person you've married and knowing how to connect. But once you have removed fear that whenever I talk, he doesn't listen, it's all rooted in fear. Remember, that is the greatest issue we have to deal with. When you remove fear from anything, whether it is communication, whether it is anything, you have begun to now operate from that place of what has God given you. It's given you a spirit of love. Do you love this person? You already love the person. You believe the best about the person. So when you talk to the person, the person didn't hear, you're not going to say, oh, I get as much. He was not going to answer anyway. So you see, it all boils down to us removing fear, and then we now understand the person we're relating with, and then we can now. So I can't come out and say, how do I get my high? You know him, I don't know him. But at that point you are rested, you believe the best about him, you believe he loves you, so it already gives you the right to relate at a different level. So communication, then you now begin to say, in his own specific, so maybe the day he says to you, please don't talk to me while I'm doing this or that, it registers in your mind. But you see, once there is fear, you don't even hear what they're saying. You have believed a lie. And we need to remove those lies. But once we remove the lies, we begin to communicate effectively.
Okay, thank you so much. So if we get correctly, what you're saying is the personality type of your spouse determine when to approach them or when not to approach them.
But it will vary from one scenario to as many as they say. Everybody's eye is it your fingerprint. So as many combinations of relationships, there's going to be different things. You can't sit down with a friend and say, oh, guess what? This is how it works here. Don't try and copy what someone else is doing. Understand the person you married. Look at him in the eyes. Okay, and then find the right time. soundness of mind makes you ask the right questions. Oh, so how do we go about it? Don't ask questions while he's upset. Then you don't have, that doesn't show that you have the Spirit of God. Spirit of God is wisdom. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Oh, okay. So why are you, you won't ask the question at the wrong time. You will also find the right time. But you see, that premise of like, you're not afraid that there's a problem here. Because you see, sometimes a lot of things are born out of, that's a problem. He's not listening. Do not take, they say, take no thought saying. There's so many things we're saying. You want him to talk to you, but you say, when I talk to him now, he won't listen. No. Is that what you want? As a man thinker, so is he. You see, there are some principles that we can apply. There are some basic universal principles that you will apply to everything. If you believe, if you have spoken to myself, what's your self-talk? Ask yourself. Anybody thinking that, oh, that guy is not listening to me, what's your self-talk? Have you said to yourself, when I talk to him, he won't listen? All those things you have said that nobody heard are all affecting. So when you come, and we are spirit beings, remember. So something in the guy just like, she said to bother me. And he's not listening. But if I come on a premise of like, this guy loves me, I believe the best about him, he has my best interest, oh, I need to talk to him about this thing, and then I take the permission. So I don't know, I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, you've heard her. There's a say, men are always hearing, but they're not listening. Well, this is what you need to do. She said, timing and ask the right questions. Please be smart. She said the wisdom is profitable to direct. You need to ask the right questions at the right time. Thank you so much, ma. I'll just take the questions briefly from our viewers online. And the first question here is from a woman. She says, my husband doesn't listen to me. He thinks I talk too much. How do I make him understand I'm only being expressive?
My husband doesn't listen to me. He thinks, well, I've said it a bit. Sometimes you've said that to yourself already. He doesn't listen to me. Now, I don't want to take away from you what you have already experienced, but I want to also ask you to take it a little further and begin to really understand what exactly is he not listening to. Is it, like I said earlier, is it the timing? And yes, every woman, we all know that women have a need for conversation. It's a big thing. But you also want to understand the uniqueness of the person you married. And then help him to, so you communicate that, oh, this is how, there's something they say, is it called something like reverse technology? So maybe for him, what matters to him, they say one of the biggest things men need is respect. So now, and for you, when you want to let him understand how you feel about his not relating with you, like maybe hearing you when you talk, that you talk too much, put it to him like, the way you feel that when I do this, it doesn't show respect, is the same way. You see, sometimes they get to hear you better. When you use, if you're just saying, you don't hear me, you don't listen to me, it's a basic need of, he's not hearing you. But when you relate it to something that he understands, so a man needs respect, a man needs to be loved, he wants to be acknowledged. So you want to let him understand that the same way that he has a need for acknowledgement, he needs a need for respect, is the same way I need that conversation. So it begins to register. So you have to look out for that moment where you can communicate, because a lot of times when we're talking, it doesn't register. So you want to find that way to let him see it from his own perspective, that can you remember how you felt when this happened? That's it registers better. Wow. All right. So with that, you hopefully will be able to get to the point where you understand.
Thank you so much. I think you've answered a lot of questions in one. The last question is communication for one has been a big challenge in our marriage. My wife talks to her friends about everything but won't talk to me. At first, I thought she was shy. How do I get her to talk?
Well, now this is the reverse, which is very unique. So the lady is talking to her friends. Now, you might find out sometimes you want to know whether did it start like that, or was it that maybe there's a way you have responded over time that has made the person feel maybe I shouldn't bother with you. Now, there's also the place where a woman needs her girl time. So I think any man should be secure enough to know that, yeah, there's some things that, but if she's not opening up to you, really talking with you, and you feel there's something, you want to find out, is there something I do each time you talk to me that has pushed you away? That's a good thing that the guy needs to ask himself. What exactly is not making you see, marriage is a place where you're going to keep on pressing in to become one. It's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. So you want to ask yourself, when did this start? Now, if it's an issue that she has issues of trust way back, now, because a lot of people come into marriage with a lot of baggage. Also, maybe she's like, and maybe you unknowingly have put up a stance that you do not know that has made her say that, at least I have friends. And I just trust God that the friends are godly, because it could be dangerous if those friends are not godly. If you're talking to the wrong people, you'll get the wrong counsel. So, yes, you want to go and find out. You want to look back and say, where exactly did this start from? And let's pick it up from that point so that we can help one another.
Well, thank you so much. I've actually learned a lot. Hope you've learned a lot too. Your take home today should be, don't allow the fear of him not listening to you stop you from actually pressing on. Communication is key. It doesn't stop. It's a day-to-day thing. So thank you very much, ma'am. At least I now know that you need the right timing, and you need to ask the right questions. Thank you. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you so much. So keep a date with us. Don't stop watching Let's Relate with Am. Thank you.